Justice for all.
I'll give you the numbers.
Last meeting, Scott, did you get a chance to review them?
What I was able to read.
So I had a couple, adjustments.
Like
Number
all
3,
the-
I'd like, new in the actual hours, the
Try and do
additional
the
hours that were
microphone.
added to town clerk hours.
Okay.
Then under number 5, for the last one, I'd like the dollar amount added to the abatement for the, Indian River Apartments, which was $800 something. It says we made the motion to abate, but there's no dollar amount.
845.15.
Yeah. And then on number 6, we didn't draft a letter to Dorchester, did we? Did we?
No, they met and they were gonna get back to us.
Right. And then the letter to Grafton, it says that they owe us 64,000 since it never, that's not right.
Well, they don't-
Incurred cost of.
That was,
64,000.
well, that's what our cost was. We
Right.
did not expect them to pay that. Now, we didn't have an agreement. So.
Just wanted to clarify. Other than that, I'll make a motion to approve with amendments. Changes, sorry. All in favor?
I'll abstain.
Non-public, I didn't have any issues with that. I'll make
No,
a motion.
I got that.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Last meeting also, we talked about the veteran exemptions. We found out recently that the select board does not have the authority to increase them. They have to be done by warrant town office. So even though we did vote to increase them slightly, come up with a warrant for that. Same with elderly exemptions, they're restricted to town warrant voting, so.
Yeah, the DRA has commented and said that will have to be put as a warrant article. They have sample language and then we just have to pick the dollar amounts that you are recommending. But the veterans being $500 maximum for regular service and 4,000 for disability. And then we have to look at the ones we have for the town, which is $26,000 in single income, $42,000 combined, and $70,000 in assets not included in your primary home and 2 acres.
So the veterans one is an actual dollar amount off the bill, and then the elderly is off the value, correct? Okay.
Does someone in the town have to do that warrant article? I don't do that warrant article.
The select
Either
board-
or, it could be a petition article, or it could be put forth by the select.
And
you guys put
I
that-
will be preparing a draft warrant article and then
We-
I'll put the maximums in and then the select board can discuss it and then we pick the amount of money they want to have on the article.
And I have a separate question. I said last time that me being a veteran with no issues has no problem with the lowest veteran discount. But I was talking to a veteran that went to Vietnam and was exposed to Agent Orange and is still getting the lower one. Is there a different form they're supposed to fill out or something? I thought that's when they jumped up. As I understood the last meeting, it was like right now, 200 for someone like me, 1,500 for people exposed, and up to 4,000 for those who were actively fighting like cancer now.
I know,
Is that
my
accurate?
understanding was the 1,500 went up to $4,000.
Yes.
Right, but
So-
1,500, the person that I talked to that was exposed but is not actually showing cancer right now, but was exposed, is only getting the 200, and I didn't know if that was if that was.
It's whether or not they're actually considered disabled. So it's basically.
No, but I thought that if you served in Vietnam or were exposed, you qualified for the lowest level of that, and then if you are disabled,
Then it goes up to the other number. But I mean, but they may be disabled now, I don't know.
So the person that I know is not disabled but was exposed, would they qualify for the lowest level
Yes.
of? Okay,
Yes.
so I'm gonna tell them to fill the paperwork out again and.
Yep.
They were told they didn't qualify, which I don't think that's true. I think it was just somebody who I think had bad information, gave them that advice and they
But
accepted
the
it.
state also made it so you can't combine them, you can't do both.
No, I know, and I told them that too. And I think they'd gladly give up the 200 for the 1,500, but I'm not sure. I'd have to ask them.
Yeah.
But thank you for that information, because I had that conversation last night.
I was confused about whether the word combat meant they had to actually be in combat or somebody just threw that word out there.
I don't honestly
You're up
know.
there.
I think,
Yeah, I will bring I don't have the document with me today, but
and I think that's a good point, because I'm not a combat veteran.
Versus the combat.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know,
It's gonna mean
the way it's been written was disabled veteran. It did not, what I read did not say combat veteran, it just said disabled.
there's actually three designations, and I'll clarify that when I bring the other one.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Anything else? So recently we were told that our acting fire chief, Steve, did I mess up his-
Well, that's
Cool.
Thank you. Needed to step down from the position, or would like to step down from the position because of personal reasons. We reached out to Chris Olson, who had stepped in from MRI, and he's still available. We talked to Chris tonight, so we're gonna bring Chris back on a temporary basis until we can figure out what we're doing in the fire station and EMS. Steve is gonna stay on and step down and be EMS coordinator or whatever. I don't even know.
Operation, yeah.
Operations manager or chief, whatever, so. I know titles are very important in the system. So, thanks for Steve for everything he did over the fall and, I feel bad for him for what's going on, but, luckily Chris, who has experience this year with the department, is able to come in and step up to the challenge of, as we go forward on a full scale search, so. We need to vote for that in public session, so I make a motion that we do hire Chris on as a temporary and let Steve step back.
I second.
Do we want to put an effective date?
Effective tomorrow, actually, so, yeah. Thank you. So all in favor?
Aye.
Carrie Ann, you've got encumbrances and, over expenditures by department for us?
Yes. Right now, the general fund operating budget is on track to have 240,000 unspent at year end, and this would roll up into fund balance. And that's, taking into account the encumbrances. So we just need to get the board to approve encumbrances and the departments that are overexpending.
Yep.
We're looking to encumber the 400,000 of unspent paving due to the bond anticipation note covered the paving of Switch and River Road this year. So we would encumber that 400,000 and then spend it next year on Goose Pond. We're looking to encumber 55,000 to put it towards the balance of the 2026 reevaluation. And then also 12,000 for the voting machines that were ordered this year, but we have not received them yet. And then I just gave you a note that during town meeting, we'll have a warrant article to ask to move the 169,000 that was in the operating budget for the lease payment. Because the trucks still haven't been delivered, we haven't paid the full lease payment this year.
Yeah.
So we would ask to move that into the highway equipment capital reserve fund.
We have to have town vote to bring it back out when it comes in, or?
No, because the select board has authorization to expend.
All right. All right, do you want us to vote on each of those separately for record, or?
I think you just have to approve the list.
Okay. I'll
I'll move to approve this list of four different encumbrances presented by Carrie Ann.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then the departments that are looking to overexpend for this 2025 operation budget would be the finance department is going to be negative $16,000 for the extra audit, and also the laptop replacements were charged to this department.
I'm proud of you for putting that first.
And then the legal department is going to be overexpent by $25,000. Personnel administration is really only the drug testing contract. We actually had a couple quarters where a ridiculous amount of people got chosen. One quarter was 6, basically the whole department, and we had only budgeted for a couple of quarters. So
Is
that
that
went,
just random anyways? Is that?
It's random.
Yeah.
Control of it?
so that would be negative by 1,600. The fire department is going negative by $12,000. They also had large bills for the radio replacements and the hose replacements. Emergency management is going negative $1,500, and that was largely because the dispatch service, we didn't budget it properly. The bridge department, we didn't plan on doing anything, and we purchased closure signs and some supplies for Potato Bridge out of that account, so that'll be negative
Do you know how much?
$1,800. And then the transfer station is going negative $14,000, and that was basically the entire bill for the compactor replacement. And then the debt department is going negative $16,543 for the interest on the TAN. In total, we paid $31,543 in interest on the TAN.
To approve the over expenditures.
No more.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye.
Really expensive.
Well, just don't- don't approve it.
Thank you.
Okay. Town office issues, follow-up, who's been reading that, Terry and wrote the original letter up, so.
Basically, there was some questions and things like that, and the select board asked for copies of the list that she gave.
Yeah.
And, we're just looking for authorization to make some shifts in the department. And the expenses would only be a file cabinet or two. But basically it would be putting the, assessing clerk back out in the front office so that they have access to the public easier, like when no one knows or there's somebody's at the window and things like that. And just, making some adjustments to the alignment. It's not a huge project, but there was some concerns about what we were doing and making changes, but it's not really a dollar item. And the bigger issue is things like the bathroom that you need to fix the plumbing because it's leaking, and and that's what we're finding out is the reason the whole vanity is falling apart is because it's constantly wet. So there's things like that we just wanted to make sure that the select board was on board with us making the revisions and the repairs that we need to make. And, obviously we'll have to buy a new vanity sink and hardware. No sense putting a patch on that as old as that, the valves are, things like that. So, and didn't know if there was any comments or concerns that the board may have.
I don't have a problem with getting the bathroom fixed, but I'd like to hold off on making any changes to where people are sitting or where equipment is. We moved that around twice this year already. I hate to have to do it again. The file cabinets start to fall apart every time we move them. So, and the new ones are nice, but we don't need to move them again. So I think we need to take a look at where everybody's situated in there. I'd like to have more time to do that before I'm on board with any of it. So.
My only concern was I wasn't at the meeting. I know an option that was listed was potential of moving into some space that the library occupies now. It wasn't a suggestion, it was an option that was listed. And I just, as a representative on the library trustees, I think when we get to a point where we maybe are even remotely considering that we should talk with the trustees first. I know, I had the same concern when we were moving stuff upstairs. We had our library trustee meeting last night, so I did just make them aware that was something that was discussed, and I don't know if they have anything to add.
I mean, I know space is a challenge there for everybody, and I just wanted, if we're gonna move it again, I want to be the last time we move it.
It's definitely a
We're
challenge,
moving out of
yeah,
that building,
I mean.
so.
And that's really all we were looking at is trying to make. We thought that this alignment was gonna work. It hasn't worked from functionality and confidentiality, like when department heads come in or we have meetings and stuff. There's no place to do that anywhere in town hall where you don't have everybody in your room with you, and things like that. So this is a relatively minor reconfiguration, and the fact of the matter is, the long-term solution is,
Outside of
it's
that.
gonna be a significant change, like, this is a minor, like, I will be operationally better, but until we can find file storage, like we talked about, we're using the third floor for file storage, in the next 2 years, it's gotta go somewhere, like, we gotta have a permanent location for this, our vault is falling apart, we need a real plan to go forward for the big stuff. Hopefully this year we can have a plan, and then we can determine how we're gonna implement it. But the short term was making the office function more like it will need to.
I just like to have some input in it.
That's fine.
Period.
And I think people overlook all the headcount additions that we've had without any room to grow. We added a whole full-time position when Christina was hired. This is the first time we've had a dedicated building inspector that wasn't the fire chief in years. So those are 2 people that we had to find space for. And we reinstituted the cemetery trustees that are also looking for cabinet space and a place to meet. So we're really just trying to jockey things around, and it was very disruptive to me, mostly second to Chet, by putting Russell in his office, because now department heads asked to meet in my office, things that I really don't need to be privy to, but they're also interrupting my time, which is already strapped, just to have a meeting in my office because people are more comfortable with me. So I would think even if we moved assessing out and put the building inspector in there that's part-time and works mornings, like that would be better on me and take the workload off of my
Are
time.
we moving him over here? Did that
That
happen?
was an option.
That was an option requested actually by the fire chief, because they go out and do the same inspections a lot, and he was like, we need to coordinate. But, talking to our current, Carolyn and Donna about the assessing part of it and the building and paperwork, there's a concern that, will we lose some of the continuity on the paperwork? So I don't feel a need that we have to move the building inspector out. But we have the ability, that's an easier position to move and not have it be somewhere all the time than the other. That's all.
How many people are in the space that you're in now? Do
In
you-
mine,
Yeah.
well, currently usually 3.
Yeah.
It's very chaotic. It's hard for us to even talk, and sometimes there's so much yelling because everybody's trying to talk over each other, and it's just been very disruptive and unprofessional.
Yeah.
I can see splitting that space with a door, with a wall and a door. But we need, because I know an actual separate office, so.
Well, I mean, and if we go to that extent, I still would argue that the assessing department should be out front where they
They have
meet
to
with the public.
access.
It's not that the person can't be there, it's just gotta be who's gonna be there.
It's not the assessing, it's just the space that office has, I think could be used better. And, whether we move you downstairs and swap you with Monica and split that office. I don't know what it is. I think we just need, a week's notice is not enough for me to make that decision.
Well, we weren't, but we're not.
Well, it was surprise notice last week, so.
Well, it was just, the information was brought to you that this is what we would like to do, and that wasn't like, okay, we're gonna start moving furniture today.
Well, that's, is what it like it is. So.
I definitely would like the bathroom fixed, and then the smell when you walk in.
Well, we can't fix that, so.
I went in there once and I was like, I would not want to walk into that at all. But
I don't know, I just would like to look at it and think about it a little more than what we had, so.
The problem technically with Monica's office is it's technically illegal to be an office like it is, because we locked the door and it's actually an exit. We're not supposed to be doing that. That's supposed to be unlocked and a pass-through.
That's your second entrance for the downstairs.
I mean, technically, we're not doing what we should be doing with that anyway. But these are things that we can talk about.
Thank you.
well, what do we do in the interim to make sure?
Well, the interim is we'll fix the bathroom, and the goal is as we move towards a permanent assessing clerk position, we would like to have it done before that happens. So that we start in a new You know what I mean? Like what we're doing right now, I mean, we're still in the same world for, you know, a few weeks. But when we start getting close to hiring somebody as the permanent assessing clerk, which we're gonna do, I think we talked about mid-January, because we just.
I mean, I'm sure the assessors would love to get out of your office.
Oh, I'm sure they would.
Is there any potential for like Carrie Ann's position, because she doesn't need to interact with members of the public, I don't think, right? Is there any potential for her to work remote? But would you even be open to that? I don't know, but.
I offered to share his office and then I'll just go home when I get annoyed.
That's working remote.
It seems like all of the other positions, you know, need to be there for someone to come in, so, but I know I personally don't like
But
working
then-
remote, I don't know.
The reality is, and because we actually did talk about that, and it actually doesn't solve the issue. Because we would move somebody down into her office. Or we're gonna just cramp it up more, because if Carrie Ann were to come up there, then the assessing clerk still needs to be out front. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, do we need, you know, a third of that office is for the public outside the waiting room, between the two rooms that are outside Ann's office and outside I mean, that's a whole room there in front of Christina's window. I don't know. I mean, we need to think out of the box and, because we're in a very small box.
Closed into an office.
I mean, that would help the alleviate the line of building up at the town clerk office all the time, so. Because it'd be standing outside.
Put it outside.
That's right. Yeah. But it's like, the issue, we should talk more about it. We don't have to do it tonight, but we just wanted you to be aware of the issues and that we do need to do something.
And the biggest thing is start thinking outside of that space,
That's correct.
Well, yeah, we know that.
but we've been saying that for a while.
Well, I'm gonna be talking to the Regional Planning Commission, starting at the end of next year, the beginning of next year, and then starting to see if we can find grants and get somebody to do a feasibility analysis for us. I mean, the last one I did was like 12 grand or something like that, and we have it in the buildings funds to start doing this stuff, so. That would be the
Well,
goal.
that would be a good conversation to have with the capital, or,
Planning Commission?
just as they're putting together that report. So,
Mhm.
thanks.
Just information wise to help the decision making thing. So there was a company that I won't name, but their initials are Lego Systems. And what they ended up going with is everybody was in an open room like this, and they had a couple of conference rooms, and when you needed to have a conference room or privacy or a conversation that you couldn't share, you booked the room. The VP shared a room, everybody from VP down was on the floor. And they just book the rooms when they need them. If you don't have space, that might be the only way to get confidential discussions, is book the room and go have the conversation. You just gotta find a small office somewhere.
We'll take out the vanity and put a second chair.
I mean, it's just a food for thought. Like you said, think outside the box. Everybody doesn't get a confidential office. It just doesn't happen.
Well, no, and none of them are confidential except what was the town administrator's office, but now it's like Grand Central Station.
Find a small private room somewhere, and if you have to have the conversation, book the room.
Well, the door that slams shut all the time, so that's pretty much.
Yeah.
All right.
But can we just agree that we loop in our library friends before we?
The library is not being pushed, or anything is happening there at this point.
Right, and that's. what I said.
Something dramatic would have to change, and they would have to be making changes, because they're like, okay, we're expanding the library into this area or that. They're gonna need space too, so that would be the great
The
shuffle.
only reason the library was brought up last week was because of concern of, you know, people coming up and down the back staircase and ending up in
Right.
Carrie Ann's office, because they don't know how to get out of there.
Yeah, so on top of all the interruptions with department heads wanting to meet in my office, we get interrupted regularly with people being lost, kids running around the halls.
Banging on the
Just very
doors.
Disruptive.
I don't know what, I mean, I don't know what the solution there is. So.
I think the solution is, you know, we can put in more signage and make sure when there's new patrons, they get the tour so they understand when it comes to kids running around. We just need to be told it's happening so we can approach them, because we don't hear it.
Yeah.
And so we did talk about it that one of the times after the fact, but we really don't know what's going on, and we certainly expect them to behave. And they understand that, and sometimes they're 12 and they don't remember they understand that. So, I mean, it's certainly not our intention to disrupt
No,
anyone's work by any means.
I didn't think you were sending them down there on purpose.
No.
Well, at 12, they shouldn't be running around.
Right.
We would hope, right? But yeah, it's really the parents.
It's a library and the parents need to be the ones to.
Well, the parents will have a conversation and the kids are running around because we don't know where they are. You can hear them banging on the doors, running outside to the other door, walking around. I don't think the parents are paying attention.
Okay, thank you. Admin report.
January 20th. The HEB has requested that to be the next public meeting related to the transfer station road bridge. So I'm gonna put that, basically, unless there's an objection, I'm just gonna notify them that that would be okay, so we can start getting the notices out.
Yeah.
And then we'll put that on the agenda.
Hopefully we have a meeting, right?
They'll be showing a couple of options.
It's gonna be a long meeting. We've got,
That's gonna be well, it can be a big night, but I'm gonna go through the dates here in a minute.
that's for a transfer station, Bridge?
Transfer station bridge. Another piece is, we just learned that the fifth wheel for the tractor that pulls the live body trailer to the dump, the fifth wheel is basically gone. We had to order a new fifth wheel and all the associated pieces and parts. So we're gonna be putting that on. That's a $3,800 purchase order you have in front of you, and that plus the tires and the other piece.
A lot of bubble.
That,
It's a lot of bubble.
yes, it is.
And we have on our plans for next year to really evaluate
Yes.
what we're doing with transfer station.
Yep.
I know Carrie seemed excited.
I know,
about
she's very excited.
that. Okay, okay. I want to make sure we continue that excitement and see, yeah.
Update on the water billing and meter head installation. We had a conference meeting on the phone with Dave Letourneau from Avatar. We were having the conversation and we were talking about the multipliers that are in there.
Yeah.
And he said, well, when you enter this stuff in, somebody entered it in manually the last time or two, because you need to do that electronically. I said, well, that stopped in July or June or July of 24, when the electrical storm took out the computer. I said, we were no longer able to use their handheld. He goes, well, that's where the problem is. If you're gonna enter them in manually, all of the multipliers need to go away. It was a setup in the computer that was part of that. So that's what's causing a big part of the issue. And Carolyn and Donna are gonna be, as soon as we get the readings, which we're hoping to have this week for the third quarter, that we can get those bills started and create the warrant. Dave is going to walk with them through pretty much everyone on there and make sure that they're all coming out to the correct numbers, and that we have a clean warrant for the select board to sign on January 6th, and we can get the bills out. That's the goal for that. And we have also.
That's Q3?
That's Q3. Meter head installation, we currently have 81 in and electronically connected to Beacon. They take about a week to 10 days to connect to Beacon, but right now we have 81 that are connected. Reading them, you're reading them into Beacon. We then, once we get enough of them, then Dave's gonna transfer those into Avatar, and then everything will be going in automatic.
You have 10 in.
No, but he's got in Beacon, not in Avatar. You got 10 in Avatar, you got 81 in Beacon that have to be connected into Avatar.
Yeah, they're not up and running yet, though.
No, they're not running and taking readings. I mean, they're reading, but they're not recording.
So the total number of heads is roughly 200 that we had to.
190 something.
190 something. Okay.
Do you know, Bob, when those will be done? Do we know? John's out for a bit.
Push along.
Not back.
John's back. We got 24 in the last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, so on the
No, that's
11th,
really
we have-
good.
Yeah, so we're gonna, on the 11th, we have
Open
57
57
installed.
installed and now we have 80.
Did we make a formal announcement about Bob?
Yeah.
We did, okay. Sorry, Mr.
I mean,
Macedo.
yeah. Budget calendar. This Thursday is a budget committee meeting in which they intend, once they make, I think there's a couple of minor revisions that are gonna happen, that they're going to vote on it preliminarily to say that they're done with the budget. The last day for petition warrant articles is January 13th. The last day for notice of a budget hearing is January 13th, but January 13th, the budget committee has tentatively set the 13th and the 15th up for their two meetings. The 13th would be the day that they're gonna review and vote on warrant articles. And the 15th will be the public hearing, where then at the end of that, there will be voting on that, where we talk about, select board voted 2-1 for this or 3-0 for that, and all the warrant articles and the budget. So that will be happening on January 15th. They will both be noticed at least 7 days prior to that. But just so you know, the January 20th is the deadline for the last time we could have a public hearing. We're hoping to have it on the 15th. That's the plan right now. The last day for the budget committee to deliver copies of the final budget and recommendations to the governing body is January 22nd. We will have a meeting on the 20th, so my assumption is if they are completed on the 15th, on the 20th, you would be reviewing any final items for that. The last day for the warrant, for the select board to post the warrant and budget is January 26th. That's the Monday. And the last day for declaration of candidacy for town offices is January 30th. And the earliest date, which is the date we have scheduled for the deliberative session, is January 31st. So basically, the big dates are the 13th the select board will review the warrant articles to push forward to the budget committee on the 6th of January. The 13th, the budget committee will review the warrant articles. The 15th will be the public hearing and voting on every piece of what's going forward. And the 20th,
Both budget and select board, or?
we did it combined last year. We can, or we don't have to. That would be up to you. We could do that on the 15th where you do the votes at the end. Or we can do it on the 20th, whichever works. We can make that decision. And the 15th, the 20th, and if we would expect the week before the 26th to have our final information into the DRA, which means then we can post, we'll have to have a special meeting just to post the warrant for this year's town meeting. And we just picked that date. If somehow magically it would be close to the
And
20th.
deliberative, earliest could be is the 31st?
Yes.
How late can it be?
I think it's.
We have it in February someplace.
It's like a week and a half later. We have it as, I think our backup date was January 7th or 8th or whatever, February 7th or 8th. Whatever that next Saturday is.
Do we know when? Usually we have it the same day as the school board does.
Yeah, they're in the morning on the 31st, we're in the afternoon.
It seems pretty tight, that's all. Okay.
Also, that Monica brought to my attention, on the 6th, and she has some possibilities now, we're gonna have to do the dedications for the book.
January 6th?
January 6th, at the January 6th meeting, we want to do the dedications. And that,
Any recommendations there?
Ruth Tucker and Reggie Barney. The whole list.
You think they're advised that we use it?
Book and town report.
The town report, yep.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question on the town report? When are the department or the annual reviews to go into the annual report?
I don't have that date in front of me. I'll get back to you on that.
I mean, typically, we can't finalize it until the votes are done, either on the 15th or 20th. We'd have to have it before that, but the sooner we have it, the more we can get it formatted and things like that. So like, if you're in the first 2 weeks of January, I think we're good.
We can do that, just wanted to slip my mind. Get to you on time.
Yes. Thank you.
Now, is this gonna give enough time with the schedule between the hearing and deliberative to get the town reports printed? Okay.
I mean, it's the same as last year. It's basically, and hopefully we'll have all the information in and approved by the DRA several days earlier, which will give us even a little.
Well, this is what I'm getting at, is we had a DRA delay last year.
Hopefully we won't, because we're gonna be finished basically in December and we're doing just the detail work in January. We should be done on the 15th, realistically. So, and the DRA will probably turn around in a couple of days, I would think, right? 3 or 4 days. We get it up there.
Yeah, as long as they're warrant articles, they're pretty rote
Yeah.
last year with all the questions.
Yeah, this year, and we have about at least a third less warrant articles.
I don't know if we can reach the record we hit last year.
No, the only things that are new will be the exemptions. We're gonna have to do the same thing with the fire truck reserve that we did with the equipment reserve last year, because we're gonna probably have to delete it and recreate it. Simply because we're adding different things that are covered in it. It's not just trucks. And then we'll also be select board to expend. And then we talked about having a guardrail in there for, like, if the select board can expend up to a certain level, because of, like, if a ladder truck was proposed in a couple of years, well, that should be put to the ballot. You know what I mean? So we're gonna find a way to put a guardrail in there to do that. So I think that's the bulk of the changes, and everything else is kind of road. You know, and then, yeah, and whether there's any other changes that need to be made. And that is all I have for my report. Other businesses in the back. Back the community power.
I think I have the shortest.
You got it, Jer? I don't know.
Yeah, did they get a copy of the motion? Did you?
No, I did not get
Oh,
them.
okay, I only have 2, but, I brought 2 with me.
Okay.
So I, have a little housekeeping to do. These are, 2 motions that I need you guys to read if you can, and of course you probably haven't even seen them, but, they are, one is in regards to that Chuck Townsend, is moving, and, so we're gonna need to have a new alternate member rep for CPCNH. And then the other one is in regards to the fact that the original electric aggregation committee, was for the purposes of developing the plan. And this is just a motion that would, modify it to support the town administrator and the select board when the plan launches.
Okay.
Yep, and just, so those
You
are,
have a new alternate?
yes, and that's in the motion. What's. And then I was gonna update you a little bit about what's going on with Liberty and the
Let's get through
PUC.
this first.
Yeah.
In regards to the motion previously adopted, on 3/19/2024, approving the Kingdom member representatives for the Community Power Coalition. We amend the motion to authorize Nancy Rosenthal as the new town, or as the town of Cana's new alternate member representative for said organization. Motion to approve Nancy as the new.
Does she know about this?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, she stepped up the plate. She said
So
she'd do
moved.
it, so.
All in favor?
I'll second it, and then I.
Number 2 is in regards to the motion previously adopted on 3/5/2024 to establish an electric aggregate committee to oversee the development of a plan, and pursuant to RSA 53E:6, we amend the motion to reflect the new purpose of the committee is to provide support to the town administrator and select board in overseeing the program as outlined in the electric aggregation plan. Moving forward, the committee will be known as the Keenan Community Power Aggregation Committee. Motion to approve that change.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So, basically, Liberty met with the PUC today, and, to determine their rate moving on from January 31st.
forward. I don't know what the official rate came in at, but I did snoop a little bit. And it looked like they submitted 13.735 cents, which is more than what the coalition says now. They meet Thursday. So hopefully by Thursday, we'll have better clarity on whether we'll be able to move forward or not, and whether their rate is gonna come in under Liberty's, because the plan, we can't launch until it's below that. So maybe we'll have good news.
Okay,
Thursday.
There you go.
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay.
Any other business? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
All-
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Before you adjourn, he would ask for an opportunity to go into non-public for a couple of minutes.
Then I will move to adjourn to non-public.
Second.
All in favor?
Um,
Aye.
Can I have the keys?
Give you-